Okay, here we go again, boys and girls. I'm back for my third video of the day. Haven't did one in like a month and a half, and I'm doing three in one fucking day. I'm Pearl of Wisdom. You'll listen to my Angel Pearls of Wisdom. Look at what I do. Like, I get prepared nothing for this. Nothing. You know how the other guys, they got like, oh, they got like their every jersey, and they do jersey like openings and shit and all that stuff like that. I don't got no money for that. I live in a basement, for fuck's sakes. Look at the wall of my back. I don't even have a picture on the friggin' wall. Then you gotta look at this mug. It's a good thing I've got pearls of wisdom, though, isn't it? Otherwise, this would be a useless endeavor. Completely useless. Some may say it still is, but I like to think in my mind that I know something. And if that is the case, then you can believe whatever you want. Right, can you? Anyways, St. Louis, Winnipeg is what we're at right now. There's a lot of people projecting St. Louis to win this, and I understand why. St. Louis went on a roll like crazy. O'Reilly's maybe getting the Selke this year. They've been playing with a lot of heart. You got to give Craig Berube a lot of credit. He certainly has these guys rolling, and you know what? Winnipeg has not played up to their potential this year. The thing is, though, they haven't played up to their potential, but they still they still easily made the playoffs. That tells you the kind of talent that is on that roster. Um, I'm going to take a lucky stab here and say that Winnipeg wakes up in the playoffs. I normally don't do that. When I see a team that looks kind of lackadaisical, especially with a guy like Paul Maurice, it makes you wonder. However, there has been coaches in the past that have kind of purposely not had their team through the season reaching that pinnacle, and it's weird. There are coaches that sort of do that. They let their players rest, and let them enjoy their life. And then when it comes playoff time, they seem to be able to just turn them on a dime. Uh, just trying to think. Lamoriello was like that. One of the best, not Lamoriello. Help me out. Starts with an L as well. Lamoriello was the general manager. Lemaire. Jacques Lemaire was like that. In fact, he had a guy. Claude Lemieux was the only one the coach he could play for. Because Claude Lemieux was like that. He would outright say, I don't give a fuck until the playoffs. And you know what? Lemaire was sort of like that. He would have his team kind of coasting through, making the playoffs. People said they were a hardworking team. They weren't. They were a holding team. And they never played at their pinnacle until they got to the playoffs. Paul Maurice is sort of like that. He sort of does that with Carolina. I just have a feeling Winnipeg's going to just come out of the gate burning it up. Um, Going through lineups, I can go through the lineups and say Braden Chen, O'Reilly, Tarasenko. You can compare their lineups if you want, but I think anybody who watches hockey, I don't need to tell you that the Winnipeg Jets lineup is better on paper than the St. Louis Blues. There's no doubt about it. One of the things that he's been doing, I wanted to bring up this, Paul Maurice has been doing, he's been playing Patrick Laine on the third pairing. So to get more scoring out of his team or whatever the case may be, I think it has been just sort of keep them hidden. And when you see the playoffs come up, all of a sudden you're going to see Nikolai Ehlers slip down to that third line, maybe even the fourth, honestly, to get some and Roslovic, who should be playing higher. Roslovic is a fantastic hockey player. They're playing him on the fourth line is just silly. It's like he's playing a hide and seek game. And I think we're going to find when the playoffs start, you're going to see Laine up in the second, Roslovic on the third, and Ehlers down, or they're going to move Ehlers over to the left side somewhere. He's going to change things up almost immediately and surprise the shit out of teams. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's kind of playing a little possum. We'll see if I'm right. Morrissey being back with Trouba is huge. Byfuglien, not having Byfuglien all year, and a lot of people like to give Byfuglien flack because he kind of takes risks and stuff like that, but there's not too many defensemen that are able to take risks like Byfuglien and get back the way he does. He changes the whole dynamic of that team. And I have a feeling they rested him for a lot longer than they needed to, because he knew he was going to make the playoffs. I think he was playing possum. So the big question you have is Connor Hellebuyck, right? He's been off and on above average goaltender, but he has the capabilities of being way more than that. So the good news is, though, when you're playing against St. Louis, you're playing against Binnington, who, yes, went on an extremely good run, but the playoffs are a different bag, man. Binnington hasn't played in the NHL playoffs in a while. Now, he's a little older for a young guy. He's been in the league for a while. He has played in some Calder Cups, and he has had some pressure. I think really when it comes down to it, if Binnington, so a lot of times rookie goaltenders, they don't feel pressure because they don't realize what's going on. They're so in awe about what's going on around them, they don't feel the pressure, and they can just go lights out. And if that happens and Binnington does that, the Jets could lose. The thing is, I am not a huge proponent of St. Louis defense. I like Parayko. I like, what's his name? Pietrangelo. And, they're okay. They're okay. You know what? You're making me do it, aren't you? I'm going to have to look it up just to make sure that you think I know what I'm talking about. Bouwmeester, Vince Dunn, Bortuzzo, and Edmondson. Let me say the names of Winnipeg's defense. I mean, Tyler Myers, underrated. Byfuglien, underrated. I think he's underrated. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does. Jacob Trouba, Sherratt, Kulikov, and Morrissey. I mean, I'll take that over St. Louis's defense anytime. So I'm more comfortable with Hellebuyck, who has had some NHL experience, and I certainly like Winnipeg's lineup all the way through. I think that Maurice is playing some possum, and I think Winnipeg's going to win this cup. Now, St. Louis next year, watch out, because they've got some people coming off the cap, and they're going to be adding some players, and I'm pretty sure they're keeping Berube whether they win the series or not, and they are going to be a team to watch, my friends. But this year, I think Winnipeg takes it. That's my full 42%, boys and girls. That's all I have to give. I wish I could give you more. But have a great day, and lots of love to ya.